the videos that perform the best turn out to be tutorials that I'm teaching on popular languages like JavaScript, Python. These are programming languages that we use everywhere. So JavaScript, if somebody's watching this, they're like, I don't know what JavaScript is. If you go to YouTube and you press play, that's JavaScript. When you hit pause, JavaScript. If you're on Instagram and you heart somebody's video and your girlfriend finds out, that's JavaScript. JavaScript is everywhere, and that programming language is one of the most popular programming languages in the world. And so when I teach that online, that tends to do well. Why does it do well? I think it's because
hello and welcome to Marketing Speak. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer. It is my pleasure to have Rafeh Qazi with us. Rafeh, who goes by Qazi, grew his YouTube to 1 million subscribers and monetized it to over $5 million with digital courses and high-ticket offers. Now he works with creators to help them do the same. Qazi, it's so great to have you on the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so we met through Metal, which is a mastermind brotherhood that I'm in, and we met in person in like 2019. So good to finally have you on the show.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It was amazing, man. It was a great experience. I miss it. I'm coming back to LA, so I might, if they're still running it, I might still try to join it again.
Well, they do it actually virtually now, so you can join from anywhere in the world.
Yeah. They don't do it at all physically at all anymore?
No, it's all virtual. Yeah.
Oh man, that is heartbreaking. That was an amazing experience.
Yeah, I loved going to the theater on Saturday mornings to hang out with the
Why
guys.
did they change that? Is it just because of like post-COVID?
Yeah.
Why did they never go back though?
Pivoted. They have so many more members now. It's crazy.
I mean, I know.
Like gangbusters. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. All right. It was something very special.
I like in-person experiences too. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, another Zoom call. Like,
I know.
Yeah, that's not the same.
No. Are you in any masterminds currently?
Not currently, but I'd like to be. I'd like to be in some kind of group. I do miss that, being around other entrepreneurs and learning from them. So that would be something that'd be fun to do. I'm just focused on, I just sleep, lift, and then just grow the business. And that's all I do. It's a very boring lifestyle, but like that's all I do. I'm like working on the business 12 hours, 14 hours a day. And I love doing that. I enjoy that.
Wow. Is that sustainable though? That's a lot of burning the candle at both ends, it sounds like.
Yeah. I'll see if I end up gassing out at some point, but I just enjoy it. I love it. So I'll probably keep doing it forever. To me, it's very, very enjoyable. If you had to ask me New Year's, go out, party, or spend a couple of extra hours on the business, I would have so much more fun working on the business. And so, that's just, to me, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, you're serving over 1 million people. It's amazing what you're up to. And so, I can see how that mission would inspire you to keep working and working hard at it. So what does your day look like? If you're spending 12 or 14 hours, how do you break that up? And how do you start it? What sort of morning rituals or sort of processes do you employ so that you get into the flow state and maximum productivity?
Absolutely. So I'm a very spontaneous person, and which basically means that I don't really adhere to schedules very well. It's not, to me, it makes me feel constrained, like I'm trapped. And so I avoid it like the plague. For me, it's just like, as soon as I wake up, I shower, and then after that, I just start working. And, I just start working right away. I have almost no time to start, no in-between time. The one thing I do is I'll work out before I start work. And so it's just like wake up, shower, workout, and just get to work pretty much right away. That's my routine. So I have a very simple routine. and then I'll just work all the way throughout until like I'm kind of exhausted of working. And so around 8 p.m. or 7 p.m., something like that, I'll just chill and watch. Like recently, I just started watching random politics like stuff. I'm not a political person at all, but I've just been watching like Patrick Bet David on YouTube all the time. I love his content. And yeah, just binge watch that. Like basically at night, I just watch something mindless until fall asleep. And then I just wake, I'll also take on meetings at night, at times. So at 8 p.m., I'll do brainstorming meetings with my team. Uh, More specifically, what my work looks like in the morning, it changes quite a bit depending on what I'm doing because I'm running my company, Clever Programmer. I'm the CEO. So it changes between content creation, so making content for YouTube or Instagram, to, recently what I'm doing is we launched this brand new product. And for that product, somebody needs to like think about what needs to go in there, what kind of systems and processes we need to put in place to make sure our students get results. My goal is to help 1,000 people land high paying tech jobs in 2024. And so that program needs to be able to deliver on that. So I just keep thinking about systems and I keep automating stuff. So I'll give you an example of the stuff that I'm automating. Like if one of my clients has not been reached out to by one of my coaches in the last like 5 days, I will like the whole team gets an alert like that client has not gotten a touch point in over 5 days. That client status changes from good health to like warning health, or risk, and the whole team gets notified of that. And that's an example of a system that I'm building because I'm also a developer and I code. And so I love doing the automation work. I'm sure I should probably hire somebody to do this for me, which I'm actually looking for people, but it just brings me so much joy. So my last many days have been 10 hours of me like building these automated systems that keep track of my clients, making sure that they're succeeding. If every time a meeting takes place in my company, I get these AI summarized notes sent to me as a text message right away. So like I have a pulse on my entire team on what's happening with my clients. And I built all of these, I have so many of these systems that I've built that I really enjoy building. And that's probably going to be my focus. So my tasks change between content creator to doing coding and automations and leading a team. That's what my day-to-day looks like.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds like a lot of really rewarding and stimulating activities that you're working on.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So what sort of tools are you using to build your automations? Zapier, are you coding from scratch? Are you using an AI to write the code for you and then you're just revising it or checking for bugs, or how does that all work?
I love these questions. This is great. Are you a developer or did anything with
I
development
used
yourself
to,
ever?
yeah, I used to code. I would, in fact, I wrote a software as a service. I wrote the first prototype. It was called Gravity Stream, and yeah, it was because I sold the company and the technology. It was a middleware tool, reverse proxy. So I'm geeking out here with this. That would
Wow, nice.
swap in optimized things like titles and URL structure and navigation and meta tags, the body copy and everything. It fixed all these issues without having to go into the underlying uh, e-commerce platform or CMS, because a lot of back in the day they were very convoluted and difficult um, to optimize from an SEO perspective. So that was
Yeah.
the approach, and we charged on a cost per click basis. So it was a beautiful thing because we were making money off of every click, and we had
Wow.
Nordstrom as a client, we had Zappos as a client, and they were paying us a lot more than if we would have just been doing consulting for them. A lot more. Yeah, it was
Wow.
really cool. So that was a big
Wow.
reason why that company got acquired, was because of that technology. I coded the first prototype. We hired a development team and everything after that, but the working prototype, I wrote that.
That's incredible, dude. That is
Yeah.
amazing. That is so cool. That's incredible. Yeah, man, I love building internal tools. I Part of me is like, if I could get paid to do this, I would start a company with this. Like, I would love to do that because as far back as I can remember, I've been building internal tools and these automations. So, like right now, I have Airtable, Zapier, wherever it's involved, like ChatGPT kicks in. But I don't have too much AI stuff kicking in for what I'm doing yet. But yeah, it's like that's how I have these automations set up, and I track everything. I track if Stephan became a lead. Okay, I know that I know things like Stephan came from, my Instagram signed up. I also know like this specific reel he watched, and that's the reel that drove him to become a lead. Um, and so it's like I can see exactly how many customers I've gotten from specific pieces of content, specific reels, specific YouTube videos, etc. And yeah, I love tracking as much as I can, and I enjoy building these systems. So yeah, to answer your question, Airtable, Zapier, a little bit of Make,
Mm-hmm. I
getting
was going
that
to ask about
involved.
Make. Yep.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like moving towards Make. I've realized that. And then it's kind of crazy how much you could do with Airtable because Airtable has automations now. It allows you to build interfaces and dashboards. So that's been incredibly helpful and allows you to move quick. And then there's a lot of front end apps that actually connect with Airtable. So like I could, Softer or Glide apps or whatever. So it's like if I wanted to build a front end for clients, for example, building a portal for my clients, it's like because we're applying to jobs for them. Like our goal is to apply to thousands of jobs per month per client. And so I want to build a visual dashboard for our clients where they can see how much progress we've made on their behalf, how many jobs we've applied to. So I'm sure with Airtable and one of these other front end tools, they'll be able to make a front end for the client and a client portal very quickly. So that's kind of one of my next upcoming missions I'm going to be working on. So I'm like, you know, nerding out and getting excited to work on it.
That's awesome. You know, what happens a lot of times is a company founder will get so successful that he or she becomes a manager and a front person, front man, okay, in your case, and doesn't have time to go in and invent stuff anymore. And that's a real bummer. And it happens time and time again. I love going in there and figuring out how to create novel interfaces and user experiences and tools. I love figuring things out. I love reverse engineering algorithms and trying to optimize for those algorithms. So yeah, it's yeah, I can relate. I can relate.
It's a beautiful, yeah. And I want to say to that point, like it breaks my heart because I'm good at sales and sales brings a lot of cash in our business. So, before this call, I was actually on a sales call and, I'm about to do a close for $7,500 and it takes an hour of my time and I'm potentially closing like an $8,000 deal, $10,000 deal or whatever. And the ROI on that is phenomenal. But I hate that because I want to be doing automations and this stuff. Like sales to me does not give me life. Sales is something I only do if I have to, or uh, you know, and we're looking to bring on more closers on the team. The reason why I'm taking some of the sales calls is like one of our current closers is not performing well. So until we replace him, I'm going to be taking some of the calls. But what I love doing is the automation stuff, and that stuff, it just gives me so much life. And I'm hating the fact that I will have to probably hire somebody to then do the automations and continue making them, because it's just, I look at my to-do list, and if you look at my to-dos from the last month, like 80% of me, 80 to 90% is like I'm doing operations, which is just so dumb. Like I should be just making content and marketing, and that should be what I should be doing 24/7, because that's like actually where we have the highest leverage. But it just makes me so happy.
Well, when you are producing content, are you doing short form content, long form content? Are you producing for a particular platform? Like, do you do separate stuff for Instagram and shoot it separately versus what you're producing for YouTube? Tell me more about how that all works.
Yeah. So my content process is, sometimes I will make dedicated content for Instagram. So we have some content that's dedicated reels for Instagram. Most of the times what we try to do is I try to just make content for YouTube. That's our biggest, number one, most valuable platform. And what we try to do is, for example, recently what we've been doing is around 7 or 8 a.m., I have a content session. Amanat, who's part of my team, he joins them. He's our head of growth. And so it's like two people. It's just me and Amanat. And we get on something like Riverside, except it's not Riverside, it's Ecamm. He's the man behind the scenes. So I'm full screen. He's not there. He's behind the screen. So he hears what's happening. So here's how we do it. Right now we're trying to make this video JavaScript tutorial. It's going to be like a 5-hour course or something like that I'm going to make, or a couple of hour course that I'm going to make. Every time I make it and I drop it on YouTube, it bangs. It gets like millions of views. So I know it's going to get like 1,000,000+ views. And it's going to take me probably a week or 2 weeks to just focus on this one piece of content, nothing else, and just shoot it daily. So, in the morning, our last session, what that looked like is we got together at 8 a.m. We spent an hour and a half just like researching, making sure we put the best content in there, making the outline for the course. And then what I did is I started shooting. So we shot for a couple of minutes. Now I'm shooting the long form video, YouTube video, but any parts that Amana thinks is good 60-second segments that I'm like either ranting or I'm talking about a hot topic for like 60 seconds, he timestamps that in real time. He's writing down as he's watching me do this, and he's timestamping those. The purpose of those timestamps is so that we could redistribute those as Instagram Reels, TikToks, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts. Vertical content, the power is that it could just be distributed everywhere. So this way, I'm focused on shooting the video long form, but out of that, we'll end up having like 50 short form pieces of content distributed. So collectively, I imagine this will go on to get like a couple of million views. Like YouTube video will get probably 1 million views plus, and then the distribution will probably get like those 50 to 100, like 50 reels that come out of it will probably get in total 1 million+ views. So that's kind of how we're going about it right now.
Wow. So you're using Ecamm Live to record the long form and keep track through your head of growth where all the really punchy bits are for short form pieces. And then him and your team are turning those into edited short form videos for TikTok and shorts and all that. And how long are the long form pieces of content, and how often are you doing these Ecamm Live video recording sessions? Is it every day of the week?
Again, this is where I am very like I work in sprints. And so I work very weirdly. So like I don't if I'll say this, if you're a structured person, having 2 to 3 sessions a week at that time is perfect. My entire life, like if I go through my last 8 years of doing content, it's like I have these sprints where I do nothing else but content for like a few months, and it's like all day I'm just shooting content. And then it's like I don't even know how to spell content, and it's like 3 months of just building the sales team, hiring talent, growing the business, growing cash, etc. So even though I've posted over 1,000 videos over the last many years, there isn't ever any like I did this weekly. There wasn't like I dropped X amount of videos per week.
Mhm.
So I work in sprints. I want to say that. But as of now, what I'm doing currently is I'm trying to do about 3 sessions per week. And our goal is to hit 12 sessions per month. So 12 content sessions per month. If we hit 3 content sessions per week, we can hit that goal. And if we hit that goal of 12 content sessions, we'll crush content wise. I know that. So I'm focusing on the process of it. And then yeah, we have outcome based goals too, but we're focused on like the leading indicators.
So what are the leading indicators?
So leading indicators for us are, have 12 content sessions. If we have that, we will do really, really well on YouTube. So that's a big one. That breaks down to
12
three
content
content
sessions, what,
per
per
month.
month or?
Per month.
Got it.
Yeah, 12 content sessions per month. And then the results are like if we can generate, if we can generate 100,000 to 300,000 new views, meaning from videos published that month, and if those videos generate 100 to 300,000 views, long form videos, our YouTube will be growing very, very healthily.
Got it. And these long form videos, how long are they?
Long form videos, my channel is a funny example, but my videos are ridiculously long. So here's what I'll say, depending on what type of long form video it is. So let's say an average video is like 10 to 15 minutes or 10 to 30 minutes long. A video I'm doing like top 5 programming languages to learn. That's a hot video. Lots of people love it. That's usually a 20-minute, 30-minute video max. The JavaScript tutorial that I'm doing, my most recent one that I dropped that has millions of views and is still growing, that one is 12 hours long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So a lot of my videos on my channel are like 8-hour long tutorials, 10-hour long tutorials. I have a 20-hour long tutorial. And so my long forms go from 10 minutes to like 20 hours.
And you're not recording all this in one session, are you?
No, but I have done a lot in one session. So for example, we used to do the series where we would just build real world apps live. So for example, we would build Twitter in one video. We would build Facebook live in one video. We would build Instagram live in one video. And those would be 6-hour or 8-hour long live streams. And we would start from scratch all the way to the end and build the entire app. And we did that with LinkedIn, Disney, like so many popular things. And we did that. So we have done that. We're not doing that right now. And so those would be one sitting because it's all live. These, since they're recorded, this is not in one sitting. The JavaScript tutorial will be broken up over multiple days, but I like it to be as few days as possible. I find it, for me, better to just shoot for like 10 hours in one day, 10 hours the other day, just get that done rather than like keep making tiny bit of progress over a long period of time.
Wow. That's cool. You're very dedicated. I can hear the passion in your voice for sure. Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm very impatient.
So let me ask you this. You have over 1,000 videos on your channel. What are, in your opinion, your standout successes and why? What was the magic or the secret sauce that made those the successes?
That's a great question. I think that the videos that perform the best turn out to be tutorials that I'm teaching on popular languages like JavaScript, Python. These are programming languages that we use everywhere. So JavaScript, if somebody's watching this, they're like, I don't know what JavaScript is. If you go to YouTube and you press play, that's JavaScript. When you hit pause, JavaScript. If you're on Instagram and you heart somebody's video and your girlfriend finds out, that's JavaScript. So JavaScript is everywhere, and that programming language is one of the most popular programming languages in the world. And so when I teach that online, that tends to do well. Why does it do well? I think it's because the thing that I thought was my weakness when I was in college, I'm like, am I too dumb? Because I just don't understand how programming works when these professors teach me. They're like, 1+1 is 2, A plus B is like this. And then they're like, now let's build the craziest, most complicated thing. And we're going to do object-oriented programming, and it's going to be Java. And I'm like, what happened in between? Like, what did I miss? How do I not understand? Am I just stupid? So I was like, okay, I'm just going to teach myself. And I taught myself very slowly. And I fell in love with programming when I taught myself like that. And for me, I just felt like it was horribly rushed in college because it was like it's like a farm where they have thousands of cows just going through the fucking whatever, right? And so it's like, there's just feeding these cows through the thing and constantly telling, and then these people who think they're not smart enough would quit on their dreams, would be like, oh, I'm not smart enough I guess I'm just not smart enough to become a programmer, and they would quit. And I saw this happen to so many people who weren't totally intelligent enough to become programmers, but it was just taught to them the right way. And so that was so frustrating for me to see, because I took a whole summer and just taught myself slowly. I would get a cup of coffee. I remember my first programming problem. It was from this website called udacity.com. I took this course. It was an unbelievable programming course. And one of the first exercises I was working on was age in days. So somebody should be able to put when they were born into your function, and you should be able to tell them how many days old they are. And I just remember just sitting there drinking my coffee from 8 a.m. to like 3 p.m. thinking about it. And it was so entertaining because there's so many challenges when that comes to date. You would think, oh, it's simple. You're like, I just multiply it by 30 or something every month. But then you're like, oh, wait, some months are 31. Some months are like 29. Then you're like, oh, then there's like leap years. And then there's like these leap centuries. And there's all these oddities that come in the way, and you have to keep solving for them one by one by one by one by one. But what's cool is once you solve it one time, you never have to do it again. It just automatically and instantly happens the right way every single time in the future. And the program ends up kind of becoming smarter than you are, because it has all these rules that you don't even remember anymore, but you just remember putting them once at a time. And so I fell in love with it. I started enjoying coding so much. And I just discovered people were just taught it the wrong way. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to like teach it to the dummy me who didn't get it before. And I just started making content on YouTube. And people started resonating with that. And that became my strength, my ability to relate with people and coding. It became my strength. So those are the videos that have done the best from teaching coding, because I think what people get out of it is it's simplified very heavily for them, because I give very simple, plain examples to understand programming. When somebody's explaining, for example, when somebody's explaining for loops, they're like, well, for loops are a constructor, and when you do this, you iterate over and it's like, for somebody who doesn't know what a for loop is, they have no idea what iterate means. They have no idea what any of that means. And so when I was teaching coding, I'm outside by the water, and I'm like, here's a for loop, or like a while loop. While Qazi is not tired, he's going to keep doing push-ups. So then I just start doing push-ups, and the camera could see me. And then I take those, after the 10 or 20 push-ups, I'm like tired. And I'm like, now let's actually write it in code. And then we go and write it in code. And so people really get that, like they visually understand how that works. So
That is so
yeah,
cool. I
yeah.
like
So
that.
that's why I think that resonated with people. And those videos where I'm teaching coding, kind of blew up the most.
So where do you send people if they want to take an entire course that's not just a one video or a series or playlist of videos on YouTube, but they actually want to pay you money and maybe get a certification or some sort of uh, proof that they took your course afterwards? Do you have courses on a platform like a Udemy or Coursera or something like that, or is it on a custom platform, or is it all just on YouTube for free?
So yeah, a lot of my stuff is on YouTube. 99% of my trainings are there. We have so many people that just get straight up jobs from watching my YouTube content. Like we have thousands of people that has happened to, which is incredible to hear. It's like, hey, I just got a job at Sonos making $180,000 a year. How? From just watching your content. So I love that. The 1% who want to move faster and don't want to swift through all that and just kind of get the results way faster and have support, we have courses on our own platforms, not on Coursera, not on Udacity, on our own platforms. And so we have courses there. And then we have a high ticket program as well where they can join, and we help them like very hands on and help them like get a high paying job.
Awesome. And do you get a percentage of that? Let's say that they get a $180,000 job. Do you get a piece of the signing bonus or something? Do you get a an ongoing residual, or is it just a set fee, like X amount of dollars,
Yeah. So right.
and that's going to get you 6 months or something of
Yeah,
support?
exactly. So right now it's exactly like the second thing that you just said. It's $7,500. It gets them 6 months of support right now, and we help them to get a job. Now, what we are trying to do is our next thing would be to make a deal with the hiring companies, and so then it's like, let's say these people come in, they pay us $7,500. But then when we get them placed at that company, maybe that company gives us like $10,000 to place them. That's something we're looking to get to in the future. Um, I suck at those business partnerships right now. That side of the hiring side, that's my weakness. So I have to learn how to do that and how to build those relationships. But for now, we just get a flat fee.
Got it. Okay. And do you offer a certification program? Are you planning that in the future? Like there's a CISSP, for example. There's training to get that certification.
Yeah.
Have you trained people on getting that certification? Do you offer your own certification, or is any of
Yeah.
that in the work?
It's not in the works because I'm like super like anti-corporate, so for me, I just focus on teaching them the skills. Because I personally, dropped out of college and stuff like that. So I'm very not paper oriented, let's just say. And so could it be valuable? I'm sure, and maybe something for me to think about, but I just focus on the practicality. So my courses, like people join, and within 20 to 30 minutes, people are building their first apps. And we have so many testimonials like that of people joining, having never coded before, and in their first 20 to 30 minutes on average are building their apps. And then I'm also teaching them how to go sell subscriptions and make money off of that. And so to me, the practical side of building is just so exciting. And I don't really focus a lot on the theory. I just focus on the practicality of building. So we have a very solid community of builders.
Gotcha. Do you have your own videography team, and how does that play in the stuff where you're like doing push-ups or something, and then I presume you're going to be on screen, sharing your screen for long periods of time, like through Ecamm Live. So, what's the balance between that? How do you figure that out?
Absolutely. So right now, I just shoot everything myself with this exact setup. That's it. because all I need is the camera, me, and my screen, and I can do that with the Ecamm. I can switch back and forth between them, and so I just shoot everything like this. And majority of my content is actually like that. Like 98% of my content that gets a lot of views is like that. Um, if I need, I used to have a videographer, but I just don't really have the need for a videographer anymore. So I don't have a videographer. But we do have editors, and I have editors that help edit the videos. Um, from a content perspective, I am very focused on being like one takes. I believe in one takes. I believe in not trying to fix it in post because you make everybody's life hell. And so I spent a lot of my time. If you take any of my videos, like if I make a JavaScript tutorial that's 8 hours long, Stephan, it's going to be 8 hours of publishable content with zero mistakes in there. And that's very rare, and not a lot of people talk about that, but that allows me to speed up the process a lot. Because if you have editors who need to go through 8 hours of content, fix mistakes and stuff, good luck. You're going to get your content in a month or two, at least a couple of weeks. But if you can trust your content that you could pretty much publish it as is, that takes away a lot of time and it speeds it up a lot. So I focus a lot on that, where it's like everything I shoot, I just pretend like I'm live and there's no going back. Because in real life, how many times, if you're in real life, right? How many times are you sitting there talking to somebody and you're like having a conversation? Have you ever been at Metal talking to those people and been like, actually, no. Like, let me do a retake on that.
Right.
Right. That's never
Or
happened.
just restating what you said the first time, but a little bit better.
Yeah.
Just restating the
exactly.
same thing a little bit better this time, right?
Exactly. Right. So you don't have to do that in real life. And the reason why we do that on camera is because we always feel like we have this out, like, oh, it's going to get edited in post. We're going to fix it in post. But for me, I just believe in committing 1000%, like you're live on a stage. There's no going back. You just burn all the bridges and you don't doubt anything that comes out of your mouth. It's almost like the word of God is coming out of your mouth when you're speaking to the camera. Like, you just cannot doubt anything. And when I go in that mode and I'm shooting and I can just turn it on like that, now after doing lots of videos, but I feel like you have to start practicing it instantly. You don't have to get to a certain level to practice it. You can start practicing it now. And what's beautiful about it is that you just start producing 10 times more content. Because, like, imagine you have one person who's constantly going back. So imagine there's two people, okay? One person, he says something, then he goes and fixes it. He uploads the video, then he goes and deletes it because he doesn't think it's good enough. And after doing that a couple of times, he has one video published. Okay. On the other side, somebody in the same time has just straight up shot 10 different videos. Right? So on one side, you have person A with one video, person B with 10 videos. Right? Person A has taken all their improvements and just poured it into one video, which is great and fine. And person B, what they have done is incrementally every improvement they put in video 2, then they're like, oh, I need to improve something. I'm going to improve it in video 3. I'm going to improve something in video 4, video 5. So quality-wise, let's just say their quality is roughly the same where they got to, right? But so quality is roughly the same, but you have 10x the output on one side, and not just 10x the output, you also have 10x the feedback from the market because you actually published all those videos. And so person B, in my opinion, is just going to go on to become a content creator that's like 10 to 100 times better in the long run. It's just my personal opinion. So yeah, that's something I focus on a lot. I know it's something random and you never asked me, but I just wanted to share because I feel like it's important.
It is important, and it reminds me of the old adage: "Perfect is the enemy of done."
Yes, 100%. That's a great way to say it.
Yeah. So how much of your revenue comes from uh, the YouTube videos getting revenue from Google, monetized YouTube video content, and how much of it, or percentage wise, is coming from those high ticket sales and the paid digital courses?
Sure. Sure. So I'll give you an example. YouTube paid me a whopping $600 last month.
Wow,
Okay.
that's terrible.
And my business paid me $86,000 last month. So YouTube is, so this is why for a lot of content creators, monetizing through AdSense is a terrible idea unless you're a massive content creator like Mr. Beast and stuff, which is still then, even then it's a terrible idea because when he can monetize his own thing, he makes like 5,000 times more money. So yeah, so I learned very quickly and very early on. From very early on, I had advice and I had people around me who were like, no, you need to make your own product. You need to sell your own product. Like, do not rely on this. So yeah, YouTube AdSense pays almost nothing. So in a year, if we made $1.5 million in a year, YouTube AdSense would be like 10 grand cash of that.
Gotcha.
And our courses and high ticket programs would bring in everything else.
And where does Instagram fit in this? Because I know that you do a focus to some degree on Instagram, on the reels and maintaining your presence there. Is that worth? Is the juice worth the squeeze there?
For me, not really. So far, and for different people, it works differently. One of my friends, Nas, he uses Instagram, closes software agency deals. One deal for him will make him 10K a month, 20K a month, something like that. And for him, Instagram works really, really well. For me, Instagram, maybe I haven't fully cracked the code on it. I mean, I'm up to 150K, 160K followers, but monetization wise, it's not as good as YouTube for me. That's what I've noticed. And I think it's just because on Instagram, they're seeing a 60-second reel, whereas on YouTube, they're watching a 12-hour or a 2-hour long tutorial. But the funnel and how it works, if somebody's watching, I want them to get the full value and full context out of this. Is like, my funnel is simple. It's YouTube. I then from YouTube give them something for free that in exchange I collect their email. So I'll, on YouTube, I'll be like, yeah, I have a free training. So the next step is they'll join my free training. I'll get their email. And then I email them and sell my $300 course. And anybody buys that $300 course will get on a call and pitch them our $8,000 program. And that is it. That's my entire business model.
It actually sounds pretty simple, which is a good thing.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a very, very simple business model.
Now you mentioned Nas. You're talking about Nas Daily. He's
Oh no,
okay,
it's funny.
different.
But that would be awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome. I've gotten that multiple times. Yeah, no, Nas is Nas Daily, Nas Domonsky. He's getting there. He's gonna be Nas Daily one day.
Okay, right now he might be Nas Weekly.
Yes, yeah, that's funny.
Awesome.
Exactly.
So it sounds like you don't need a lot of editing done, but you do use editors, especially for short form video content. How do you find them and how do you retain them?
Yes. So retaining is hard. You have to be on top of it and really communicate with them. Good editors are really hard to find, harder to even keep. One secret I discovered, and this is really pro insight that I'll give you because it'll save you I've paid my content teams like 60 grand a month, a lot of money, and they were okay. And right now we have a pretty solid content team. So the hack that I did to find great content people is this. So I learned this from Arak's team. Arak is one of the biggest YouTubers. I'm sure you've heard of Mr. Beast, right? On YouTube.
Yeah.
Of
course.
Yeah. So Arak is also a really big up and coming YouTuber, but not Mr. Beast level. So I spoke with his team, and they were telling me what they do. They gave me a recommendation, and then I put it into action, which was find a great editor. So Hayden Hillier Smith is a great video editor, and he's known. He's a YouTuber as well, and he's like big in the editing niche. Now, Hayden Hillier Smith is going to be hard to hire because there's just so much demand on him. So, like, you know, he's probably not going to be good for hiring. But what you do is you go to his Twitter and you see not who's following Hayden, because everybody's going to be following Hayden. You see the people Hayden is following. So you look at the people Hayden Hillier Smith is following, and you look at specifically the editors he's following. Those are the editors you want to hit up. And if you want to go and have a bigger pool of editors, you go and then hit up the people those editors are following. So that you can keep widening your pool like that. But it's vetted. Hayden isn't going to be following a random editor. He's going to be following an editor that's like solid. And you speak with these guys. A lot of these guys end up being actually third world countries. They end up being outside of US. And so they end up being a lot cheaper. And, you know, the same videos I've paid in the past, like $3,000, $5,000 for, with some of these guys, I'm paying like $250 for. And short form content, I'm paying probably $25 per reel, you know, and I used to pay hundreds of dollars per reel. And they do an amazing job. They do a fantastic job.
That's a ninja hack. I love that. That's a great way to end this interview. I love it. So we're out of time, but where would you suggest our listener or viewer go to if they want to learn more about YouTube marketing and monetization of their YouTube channel and all the cool stuff that we've been talking about?
Absolutely. Just go to my Instagram, Rafeh Qazi. So Rafeh.Qazi, RAFEH.QAZI. And if they just go to that Instagram, a lot of great content is there. And more importantly, they can get in touch with me. So if they have questions, just ask me directly. I love tactical conversations and engaging and answering questions around this type of stuff. It geeks me out. It's exciting. So yeah, they can just hit me up and I'd love to chat with them.
Awesome. Well, Qazi, thank you so much. This was awesome. And congratulations on all the success, and may you have much, much more.
Thank you. I appreciate you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome. And thank you, listener. We appreciate you too. So go out there, make it a great week. We'll catch you on the next episode. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer, signing off.